Hey guys, welcome to our channel. Today we have the E-flite Foresight. We will be reviewing and building this indoor foamy biplane. Today we have the two wings, the fuselage, these little things that go on the fuselage. These are kind of cool to slow it down, and to slow it down even more we have the speed brakes. We have the horizontal stabilizer, our basic push rods, motor mount, all that good stuff, including the Velcro even. And we also have the Park 250 Outrunner brushless motor. It is the recommended motor for this plane. We have the 8x4 prop. These colors are available, and it's also available in black, but they're sold out. We also have the manual, and we have our Spectrum 6300 receiver with 4 micro servos. I also have a 10 amp ESC and 320 milliamp 2-cell batteries coming. So let's get building. Okay, so I want to point out one quick thing. I'm using Zap foam safe applicator, and when you put the applicator on each time, you get these white streaks. All you have to do is just go over it with a wet cloth, and it should do the job. So far, so good. It looks pretty straight. One thing they do mention in the manual is to leave these tabs unglued so that you can later install the horizontal fuselage. So far, the build's going really good, and okay guys, so I screwed up. The Zap foam safe kicker, it leaves those white spots, and those white spots are very hard to get out. What I did is I took the dish soap, and basically that's the only thing that works. I've tried everything, just really, and it still leaves more. So what I did is I switched to the Bob Smith Industries BSI activator, and that seems to do fine. On here it's perfect all the way around, no mistakes. So that's what I recommend when doing this. I don't recommend the Zap. Although the Zap glue is still working well so far. As you can see, I put in the little stabilizers there, make the plane slow down a little. Okay, so far the dishwashing soap has held up and stopped the white spots from appearing. That's very good. We installed the horizontal stabilizer. That's very easy installment. We did the wing, also very easy, and we're doing these things that connect the, since this is a biplane, it has 2 wings, and we're connecting the 2 wings together with these things right here. So far, it's pretty easy. All you need is CA. We've also installed the motor mount right here. I had to stick some extra foam up in there just to make sure we had a very flat feel on there instead of sanding it. Also, attaching the wing, it's very easy. They have these nice little tabs and pre-cut holes to put the connectors in. But one thing you do need to make sure of is that it is flat right there on all 3 of these where the wing meets the joint. You need this because any airflow that gets up in there, and it's uneven, it can interfere with the airflow on the wing, so that's very important. But overall, I think the wing assembly is very nice. It's important also to make sure these at the end are nice and straight, so that your plane doesn't have a yaw. One thing also that is very important is that in the manual they recognize that you need to use a square for anything that has a 90-degree angle, such as the fuselage and the wing connectors. Anything like this isn't the ideal thing, but I don't have a square with me right now. Should be the minimum that you're using, just to make sure it's lined up. That one isn't, but just to make sure that everything's at a 90-degree angle so that you don't get any extra pitch or yaw. Okay, so we did run into a little challenge. As you can see, I installed the push rods to support the 2 wings. It's definitely doable, but it's a little challenging, especially for a beginner like myself. All you have to do is make the push rods straight, and make sure they're not protruding the wing, the manual says, but they can protrude a little on the foam. You have to make sure they're all straight, and it makes it very square. The whole fuselage and everything goes together, and then you tighten it down with CA. They do recommend putting drops of CA on the top. I will do that. Okay, so we installed the first push rods. The second push rods are basically these things on the side that bounce the other side to the wing, or the connector piece. I recommend when you're putting these in, put a dab of CA at the top here, and try not to protrude the wing here. Try to protrude it down here if you can. There's a total of 4 of these. It's very important that you set the wings on a flat surface. If you don't, the push rods might bend the wing when they're drying, so then you'll have a bent wing that no one wants. So it's very important that you have it on a flat surface that you can easily work on. Next we're going to be doing push rods right here. Okay, we got all the wing spars for the wing. Now it's time to put the horizontal stabilizer in. When doing this, it's very important that you make sure the horizontal stabilizer is lined up and is parallel with the wings, and then it is perpendicular to the fuselage. You also will be gluing these last tabs and this last tab. Okay, so we did that. We glued it all together. Very easy. Just using a little CA. Okay, so now we're going to put the carbon rods for the horizontal stabilizer. Let's get them. They'll go right there. So there are going to be 2 there and then a bunch of others. Okay, so the next thing to do is to install the landing gear. Now, the landing gear on the foresight, since it is an indoor plane, there's no really use for the wheels. Basically, it's just a big stick right here just to stabilize the rudder. There's no steering at all, so you're going to have to probably launch it in 3D. And also, the landing gear here are these little buds. They aren't wheels at all, so it's just to keep it stable on landing so it doesn't scratch. This is what a square looks like. You can use metal or plastic. This is what you should be using to measure how 90-degree angles on the plane. When they built the foresight, they're definitely taking hard landings into consideration. As you can see, there's extra support here, so on any tough landing, not too hard but a little tough, you'll be fine because it has all this extra foam right here. Alright, so since we got the landing gear on, they are little stubs here. I want to show you one cool thing that shows you just how much wing loading that the foresight has. So if I get it up here, I can just let it float down. Isn't that really cool? Just shows you how much of a floater and how much of a 3D plane this is. And that's it. Okay, now it's in time to install the motor. As you can see, the manual for the motor, simple one picture, and then 2 directions, and then there's a whole different thing that you can do with extra parts and stuff. Basically, it is a little confusing, but what you do is you put this little piece on, and there's a screw that you tighten with needle nose pliers, and just tug on it, make sure it's gonna stay, and you use the 2 screws that come with it to mount it, and also you need to make sure that there's enough room in the back for this thing to spin, because if that can't go in, it's gonna cause some problems. Okay, so we installed the motor. Make sure the wires are positioned so that they can later connect to the speed controller. It is a little tricky putting the motor mount on the motor, and also screwing it into the firewall. The firewall is pretty strong, so I recommend making the holes with the screws before you even put the motor on. So put the motor down and then screw and make sure you have a big enough hole, and so that the screws can go in a lot easier, because it is hard if you're doing it for the first time.